Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item up on the agenda today is opportunity for questions or comments from the public. Do we have anyone who would like to speak? If we do, just come up to the mic and state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you. I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to what I have to say.
Sorry, can you start with your name and address, please? Sorry.
Shall I take a bite out of it? I saw that. Okay. It is important for you all to know.
Oh, sir, she was asking for your name and address to put on the record.
I'm getting to that. Oh, okay. I'm Greg Haas. I live at 1003 Davis Grove Road in Horsham. I am Greg Haas, a disabled veteran who served from February 67 to February of 70. I have survived 4 types of cancer, and presently I have a pacemaker, a spot on my liver, and a spot on my lung. The spot on my lung is part of the reason why I'm here tonight, and that's why I brought this up. I hold a volunteer position of transportation coordinator for Lulu's Shrine and Shriners Hospital. That position, I put in about 20 to 30 hours a week, making sure all the children in our 5-county area get to Shriners Hospital and get back. If they need food or a place to lodge, I take care of that. My wife and I have resided in Horsham Township since 1984. From 84 to 98, we were on Privet Road, 442 Privet Road, and since 1998, we've lived on Davis Grove Road at 1003 Davis Grove Road. Forgive me for this. I'm 78 years old, and I have a memory that's non-existent. Okay. In all 3 of these locations, we also own a business in Springhouse. We've been in business since 1984. We own the building that we're in. And in all 3 of these locations, we maintain an excellent relationship with the government and all of our neighbors. That's an important fact, that I do maintain a good relationship with my neighbors. I would like to ask you, what is the definition of small personal fire? You think about that. Madam President.
Thank you.
That fire is located at 1005 Davis Grove Road, Horsham, right next door to my property. That fire has burnt consistently for the past 7 days, night and day. What is burning? Wood slabs. When you mill logs, off the side of a log you get a piece of slab wood. That slab wood is usually wet. The wood is cut into pieces and put in a fire, and it has burnt and smoked. And you can see the smoke and the fire in the picture that I provided. That smoke is polluting the environment, and it blows into my yard. Back to that spot in my lung. I have allergies, and I'm highly allergic to the smoke. Presently, as I speak to you now, I have a severe sinus infection. I got that from the smoke. That fire does burn 24 hours. When it's burning 24 hours a day, around the clock, and nobody's supervising it at night. Well, that pretty much covers the problem with the fire. I would like to ask you, what is the definition of an R2 property? Is it considered? Madam President, in those pictures you will see.
We just need you, I'm sorry, just at the mic for the record. Thank you.
That's okay.
Yes, over there too.
I'm not used to this. In those pictures, you will see trailers labeled Spartan drywall. There's 4 or 5 trailers. There are 4 or 5 trucks labeled Spartan drywall. There is an excavator. There is a bobcat. And several other pieces of equipment. In that group of pictures, you will see logs, and circled in one picture, there is a sawmill. That's where the slab wood is coming from. It's an R2 property.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, up here. If the trucks are, I'll circle back to the fire and the smoke, but before I lose my train of thought, are people allowed to store their personal business trucks if they're on their property?
The code, as long as they're not running the business out of their property, I will go back to code enforcement, share all of this with them after tonight. The last time that I talked with code enforcement about it, he had a business in West Norton Township, out there, West Norton, East Norton Township, that they confirmed, and one of the code officers drove out there to the business, and there was all these Spartan trucks and stuff in the parking lot, and they were there in the office. So, but that was some months ago. I don't know if code enforcement has been involved with it since then. I don't know.
But if they have an office that is not being run out of there, but they are storing numerous vehicles on the property, is that allowed if it's on their property? Like, how does that
We don't
ordinance work?
have any, as long as they're not running a business off of their property, or there's no code that says specifically that says a business truck or business trucks can't be on a property. As long as
His employees are coming to the property to pick up those trucks and go to work sites, is that considered running a business off of your property?
Well, like I said, I need to talk to code enforcement and dive into it a little bit more. Then I don't have all the answers tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, just to catalog. So we have fire, which we didn't, and I will let you finish. Fire trucks, the logs, what was the what was the concern or the point with the logs and the milling?
He's running a sawmill, a commercial
okay.
sawmill, and in
Got
one
it,
of those
got it.
pictures,
All
you'll see
related.
stacked up on top of a shipping container, a whole bunch of cut up wood.
Yeah, okay. No, sorry, I just wanted to make sure I was tying all the pieces to the right corresponding underlying issue. Okay, thank you. Please proceed.
Okay.
Just to also clarify, would you say that running a sawmill is loud?
No, the sawmill is not
I
loud.
was trying to help you. Okay.
No, the sawmill is not loud. It's the incessant burning, and that I can't see where that could be allowed, because he is definitely polluting the environment. And if it's coming onto my property and it's affecting my health, that I have a problem with.
Well, I know that because you and I have we've chatted a few times in the past, and this is a repeating issue with this. So as far as the fires go, I know that they are allowed to have, backyard, if they're attended, if they're under a certain size, if they're contained in a vessel.
What size is a small personal fire?
Yeah.
To me, a small personal fire is 3 foot in diameter of metal
Fire pit.
fire pit, thank
Yeah.
you. And at the end of the evening, you put out your fire, and it doesn't pollute the entire neighborhood.
So I guess my question is, if this is burning unattended, that would be not allowed, right? Like that.
I mean, what I know of, and I don't know as much as some of our code people and fire marshal, is I never heard of it burning 24/7. That's new. I've never heard of it.
It has been burning.
Unattended.
Now, it went out the other day because we had a heavy storm. But it has been burning since today is Wednesday. It burnt for a full week, round the clock. I couldn't even open the doors to my house because it was in my yard and would enter my house.
Did you call?
I'm glad you brought that up. That's an extremely sore point. The last time I called Madam President. She called the fire marshal for me. The fire marshal appeared on the site. You have pictures of the fire. Called me back and said it was a small personal fire. I said to the fire marshal, "Sir, you can be replaced." He is an elected official. Yeah, he's upset me. I have this feeling that nobody's here to help me, and I'm not getting any relief from the situation that I'm put in, and it is affecting my health.
Yeah. No, I mean, we definitely want to help you to the best of our ability, and that's why I'm trying to understand better what is and is not allowable, so that we can talk to the neighbor in ways that have meaningful actions that can be taken.
And the problem is, the last time the fire marshal was there, he immediately told True Love, and True Love confronted me. I've had numerous confrontations with this guy. And that concerns me.
I think, again, I don't think that we have sorry, were you gonna?
I was going to say, the only thing that we can do is enforce our codes, and we can't do anything more than that. And I'm not saying our codes are not being broken. I'll bring this all to.
I understand that. Now, I'm just bringing this to all of the issues to your attention. I have presented all these issues to Mr. Walker approximately 6-8 months ago, 9 months ago. Since then, the fire company's been called, the fire marshal has been called, and my last concern has to do with Phil. As you all know, his property is in a floodplain and partial wetlands. He got a variance to raise his house up, and I believe he got a variance to build a ramp up to his house, which was done with dirt. He filled the basement of that structure, which was 2,500 square feet by 11 foot with dirt. Fill. That's a lot of weight. He built that ramp all around his property, around his house, up so he could get into his garage. Now, I don't know whether he had a variance to put it all the way around the house. I'm sure he did have one to build the ramp. But since then, in one of those pictures, I have it circled, there was a run, a mill race. For those of you who aren't quite as old as I am, a mill race is where the water ran down from the creek, ran across my property and across his property and into the mill at Mince's old property. That drove he filled the mill race in and built an extremely large platform in the back, about 5 times the size of this room, building this fill at least 5 and 6 foot deep. I'm looking at about 5,000 tons of dirt. Think of 5,000 refrigerators. That's the approximate size of a ton of dirt. All of that weight is pushing down on the high water table. That area is all high water table. With that pushing down, when I bought my property in 1998, I had one sump pump, and it was more than adequate. In 2024, I added a second. 2024, I added a third. 2025, I added a fourth. Because of all that fill that's pushing the water into my basement. Now, I'm the only one in the area that has a basement. And the water is coming into my basement. I have not seen a notice for a variance from the township for any of the work that he has done on that property. I have not been, because I would have been to the meetings and complained or stated my feelings about it. That is the end of my presentation. I appreciate your time, and I will appreciate any help that you can give me on this matter. The other thing I would really appreciate is somebody, after you've made some decisions, to get back to me so I know where I stand.
Can we keep these pictures, Greg?
Pardon?
Can we keep these photos?
Absolutely, and if you want more, you have the ones I gave you. I'll print more of them. I've got hundreds.
If you can give us give me a few weeks, only because the July 4th holiday is upon us, and I have a lot of staff on vacation, so give me a couple weeks. Yes.
But I would say if we have another 7-day fire, please call when it is active, especially if it is unattended and overnight, so that we can do something in real time, because otherwise it's hard to go back after the fact and enforce anything. But in a very specific situation like that, unfortunately, if it's after hours and at night, that's going to fall to the police department, right?
Yeah, police and fire.
I hate to call the fire company. I was a volunteer fireman. I know what it costs to start one of those trucks and drive it anywhere. That's a lot of expense to run over there and put do a little squirt on the back.
Police department.
Well, so I did look up, I believe, our fire code, our fire prevention code, and it does talk about any fires being a minimum of 15 feet from any combustible structure or material. From the pictures, it looks like things are in closer proximity than 15 feet. It also talks about them being constantly attended until the fire is extinguished. So if it warrants a call from the fire department to have that enforced in those overnight hours, that's important to the entire surrounding community, because there's a lot of tree overhang there, there's other structures that are nearby. So I appreciate you sharing this with us tonight and, having such detailed information. I think it will help code enforcement if there are things they are able to enforce, which I don't work for code enforcement. It looks like it to me, but I want to make sure that they're able to follow up.
In one of those pictures, I'm sorry, I thought I was all done.
You don't have to apologize.
In one of those pictures, there is, I circled it, and it states on the picture, new foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does he have a permit? According to the variance, he wasn't allowed to build any further structures on his property. Well,
look, give us some time.
Right.
I don't want to say he's in
up.
violation of anything. I don't want to say I don't want to commit to anything today. I know there's a history. There's a history of, and we just got to get over the next couple weeks, and I'll get back to you and also keep council updated on what we found.
Take a month. It doesn't matter unless there's another fire, and then.
Yep, unfortunately, just call and report that.
One of the pictures I couldn't tell. So either the fire is directly behind a tall stump or there's a fire inside the stump. Do you know which?
It's behind a building.
So it's not inside of a tree stump.
No.
Okay. And
there was a hole dug. Now, to the best of what I've been able to see, there was a hole dug, and he just throws these slabs into the hole and burns them. And they burn and burn and burn, and they smother. And that's the word, smothers. Smolder. They smolder for hours and just smoke. And it's just not healthy for the environment.
Sure. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Do you have any further questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. Thank
you coming out.
Greg.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Could you call him over again and make him run back to the mic? I never seen him move that fast.
You just come to council to get your exercise in.
Sorry.
Good. Any other questions or comments from the public before we proceed? Okay. Okay, next item up is the approval of the list of checks. Do you want to say anything about that before we vote to?
Nope.
Okay.
I move to approve the list of checks in all funds from June 18th, 2026 to June 24th, 2026 in the amount of $582,362.50 and further move to authorize payment of same.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. This is a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to consider a resolution of waiver of land development with the conditions for Town Place Suites, 198 Precision Road, 26-04-W, to remove an existing in-ground pool and concrete patio and replace same with a paver patio.
You reviewed this at your last meeting, so resolution is in front of you for your consideration this evening.
I move to adopt the resolution as proposed, approving a waiver of land development with conditions for Town Place Suites, 198 Precision Road, 26-04-W, to remove a existing in-ground swimming pool and related concrete patio to be replaced with a paver patio.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. McCarty, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Patterson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Thompson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Junkie, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Ms. Slaff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next item up is to review the zoning hearing board applications to be heard in July.
You have 3 applications for the month of July. Your first one, all three are residential. Your first one is on Park Road, which is an proposed in-law suite. If I can get it here. Let's see. So what they are proposing is a in-law suite. This is the existing house here. This is an existing detached garage. This would be the new in-law suite for the property. It would connect the house and the detached garage. And the variances that they need to make that happen is a rear yard setback. This is in our R2 zoning district. Where a minimum of 80 feet is required. They currently have an 87.9 feet rear yard setback. With this in-law suite, their rear yard setback goes to 50 feet. The second variance that they will need is an impervious coverage. They're allowed 20%. 19.7% currently exist. With this addition, they will go to 22.67%. They first came in to us with a plan that was, I'm trying to think of another word than horrible, but not a good plan. And they did work with our code enforcement officials and came back with this plan, which was a heck of a lot better than their first plan. They have agreed to do a deed restriction and a declaration that the in-law suite is only for family. And so the staff recommendation for you to consider this evening is to be neutral with that condition that the in-law suite can only be a family member.
I'm guessing this doesn't apply since it's not on the list. How does this relate to the ordinance change that we just did with regard to the size of garages that can't be more than 50% of the square foot of the?
I think those were detached, not attached. Right?
Yeah, and it's in there.
So this is attached, and so that's why that didn't hit on this?
Right.
Okay. I'm just curious. Thank you.
I also have a quick question, and I'm sorry I didn't notice it previously. On the public notice, there was a fourth application. Did they remove their application?
That is, we already
2519.
We already reviewed it.
You've already reviewed that. They've never had their hearing since your review.
Oh,
They've
okay.
kept continuing it
Okay.
to work issues out with their next door neighbor.
Got it.
And
Okay.
now they're ready to go to the hearing. The issues what I've been told is the issues have been worked out with the neighbor.
Okay.
So they're ready to go to their hearing. So they've been continuing ever since you looked at it.
Okay. Sorry for the
It's
detour.
okay. I should have mentioned that earlier. Your second one is another residential. Oh, sorry. Was there anything else?
No, does
Or-
anyone have, so the staff recommendation was neutral on that? On the first one, on Park Road? Yes? Any other questions or concerns from anyone?
Okay. Yes. Well, sometimes you don't need an engineering drawing. The residents take it upon themselves for small applications, and we consider this a minor application. But this is also in our R2 zoning, 334 Sun Valley Drive. They would like to put a shed in their backyard. Again, it's regards to impervious coverage, where they are allowed 25%. They currently have a pool, so they are at 28.36%. And adding a shed to the property, they go to 29.12%. The staff looks at this as it's a temporary structure. It's not a permanent structure. It's simply a shed. They're not running electric to it. It's just really your normal traditional shed in your backyard. So the staff would recommend you consider being neutral to this, but with the condition that they do something like plant a tree, plant a couple shrubs, maybe add a rain barrel to their rain gutter system of their house, something to help a little bit, since they will, they are 4% over the impervious coverage. Nothing that the township engineer has to get involved with, or no stormwater maintenance agreement, and nothing like that. Just something simple and easy with planting a tree, adding some shrubs, or rain barrel.
I think Ellen's opposed. That all sounds fine to me. I'm in agreement. Anyone else? Your thoughts?
Okay. Your third and last one is another residential at 1046 Balmoral Way. They would like to construct a swimming pool. It's an impervious coverage issue again. So it's on R2 zoning district, where 25% is permitted. They are currently at 29.7%. And adding this project, they would go to 30.3%. They have agreed to take out, in trying to work with us and our code, this section here, this patio gets removed, and then all this in the red here would be removed too, to try to lower their impervious coverage. So they are trying to work with us on the impervious coverage issue, and staff recommendation would also be, for your consideration, is neutral, with the same condition that they try to plant a tree or two or some shrubs or rain barrels or something to help with the impervious coverage.
This is a difference of about 0.6% after the other concrete is removed. And I know on the prior application, I noticed that those homeowners there hadn't done any improvements to their property since owning it that increased their impervious coverage, and that was their first instance of asking for a variance of this nature. Is that the same situation with this house as well?
Well, yeah, I do know what you just mentioned with the previous application, that, but this one, I am not exactly sure if they put the pool in or previous property, not the pool, the patio.
Because oftentimes I know when we review some items like this in regard to impervious coverage, there will also be a statement such as no additional additions to the increase the impervious coverage should be allowed. So that was more of where that question was coming from. Had they ever been in a situation where that statement was made to them?
Yeah, not sure.
I mean, I similarly don't think that 0.6 is much of, and they were working with us and they were removing other things. So I think that I am in agreement to, again, go neutral. I just wanted to confirm that as well.
Okay.
Anyone else? I'm not going to argue.
I agree.
Okay. Are those in instances like that? Is that documented anywhere? When someone does something to increase the impervious coverage at their homes that we're already all right, you can do this, but that's the last thing that you can do. Is that documented anywhere or noted?
Usually what they're doing something is a building permit, and usually that's documented with their building permit that they're now at their limit. But some of these homes that have been around 25, 30, 40, 50 years, people don't do that research.
Well, yeah, and I'm not saying if it was a new homeowner that should still carry through and apply. Again, these people were accommodating to what our enforcement officers were suggesting, so I think that that's all fine. It would just be nice to know, if there is a situation like that we have visibility into that history, just for clarity as we're making decisions. Okay. All right. So with that, we are done with the zoning hearing board applications, and we can move on to considering a proposal for Wollstonholme Architects for historical architecture review services regarding the Worth Farm property at 1336 Limekiln Pike.
I know two of you have been involved with this when we were going through the land development process for what we call the Worth property on Limekiln Pike and the historical home on the property. At the time we were going through that, we hired a historical consultant, architectural consultant, Larry Weintraub, and he worked with us and our Historical Advisory Commission, the Zoning Hearing Board, and also council in making sure that what the Zoning Hearing Board conditions placed upon Toll Brothers was sufficient to historically preserve the house. And we need Larry again as the project starts to go to construction. Toll Brothers is hoping to start moving earth in August, but they've also given us a historical preservation construction plan for the existing house, and Larry needs to review that to make sure it meets all the requirements that were agreed to. And then Toll and Larry need to be in front of our Historical Advisory Commission for them to give the green light and the go-ahead on Toll Brothers' proposal. And then after that, as Toll Brothers contractors are doing the work, we do not have anyone on staff, including our building inspector, that has the expertise and knowledge with historical preservation work. And we need to make sure that the contractors are doing it correctly, and we need Larry out to be inspecting the work and to be sure that it's done the right way. The reason why this proposal is in front of you this evening is because Larry left the architectural firm that he was working for originally, and he's working for a new company, and we need to enter into an agreement if we'd like to keep Larry, who's familiar with the project. If we'd like to keep him on board, we need to enter into an agreement with his new firm that he's with now.
I move to approve the proposal dated June 15th, 2026, as submitted from Wolstenholme Architects for the Worth Farm property, 1336 Limekiln Pike review for the restoration of the historical resources.
Second.
And moved and seconded. This is a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it. Up is to authorize the solicitation of the following bids.
You have 4 bids. They are separated on your motion list, so the first one is by itself, and then the 3 next ones are together, so they do have to be done separately. But your first one is the demolition of structures on the property at 449 Cedar Hill Road. That is Cedar Hill Road Park. We own a home, a house that is falling down upon itself. It has become a safety and liability issue at the park and for the township. So it is at the point that we have to take it down. So that's what that going out to, and it's going to be over the $22,000 bid limit. So that's why you had to go out to bid for the demolition of that house. The next 3 items, you've already solicited bids. You've already awarded bids for them, but it was recently found out before any work started that the legal advertising for those bids was a day short. So we don't have a home office for the Intelligencer newspaper anymore. We deal with they're owned by, I think, USA Today. I've lost track of who buys who, but we deal with an office in Wisconsin for our legal advertising for the Intelligencer newspaper, and they missed it by a day. And it's very clear this is state money and to be used for the paving project, and you have to be exact to get in order to spend the money on the project. So it was 10 days, we were 9 days. So unfortunately, the good news is the project's still going to get done. The money's still there. It's just going to be delayed a little for us to have to go out to bid again. So that's what those 3 bids are for, our paving project.
I move to authorize the solicitation of bids for the demolition of 439 Cedar Hill Road.
Second.
been moved in.
Sorry, just to note so we don't knock down the wrong house, which we're not going to do, but it's 449 Cedar Hill Road. Okay.
Is the,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not going to knock down the wrong.
All right. So it's moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. I move to authorize the solicitation of bids for contractor, milling, paving, and line painting projects, milling for township paving projects, and line painting projects.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Nope. Okay. Last item is to announce that the next Horsham Township Council meeting will be held on Wednesday, July 8th at 6 p.m. Horsham Farmers Market is back every Sunday, June through October, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the library. If you love to hear council speak to our audience members here, the council will be over at the library on Tuesday, June 30th, next Tuesday at 7 p.m. reading the Declaration of Independence. So come on out and get to listen to us again. And the next concert in the park. Oh, we forgot to say anything about that. We haven't had a council meeting since the prior one, correct?
No.
So thank you to all the township staff involved in having concerts in the park come to fruition. And I heard that the first one was very successful, very well attended. I've been stopped on the street more than once by people to say how lovely it was and how nice they thought the entire event and evening and crowd and just everyone really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, had to miss it. It was my husband's birthday, but I hope to be at the next one. But thank you to all the staff and Parks, Public Works Department and the township staff for putting that together. And our next concert in the park featuring Retro X Revival will be Thursday, July 16th at 6:30 in Lukens Park. Bring with food trucks and bring your own lawn chair. And with that, we can adjourn.